I just never did anything in a linear format. Just nothing was like ever quite good enough. Like, what's next? What's next? What's next?
I'm actually in the depths of doing some very like hardcore inner child work at the moment with a therapist. Abuse was kind of normal.
I now know there's no such thing as the perfect victim or the typical victim, especially now since speaking up publicly, the amount of women from all walks of life who have reached out to me with their stories.
It's super useful to go back and do that inner child work. It's the most important work you can do.
It has to be something. There has to be a reason.
It has to be a root cause, and the root is often stemming back to your childhood. 85% of a child's brain is developed by age 3.
The pain that you go through when you break up is temporary, but the pain that you'll be in of staying with him will be forever. So creating these like villainous characters gets people talking online, and that's where the ratings and the money pours in. Who the fuck would go on a show that has 3 million viewers a night and not know anything about the show? I've really only ever cared about what my friends and my family think about me. I could give two shits about what a stranger thinks about me.
So you may recognise the next guest on next season from Australia's highest rating reality TV show, Married at First Sight. But today you'll get to meet the raw, unfiltered and unedited version of her. Welcome to the show, Lauren.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
It's great to be here, finally.
I know. I sent Lauren a DM on Instagram saying I would love to have you on the show after realising that you'd actually just made the move to Sydney.
Yes.
And we don't live too far away from each other. So after a bit of back and forth over a couple of months trying to align our schedules, we are finally here.
Yay.
So Lauren, tell me, what is life like in Sydney for you so far?
I actually lived here years ago. I came over here to finish off my degree, which I didn't end up finishing. I lived here for 5 years. So I actually just planned to come over and finish or do like the last 6 months of uni and then go back to Perth. Ended up staying here for 5 years. And then I only ended up moving back to Perth because I met a boyfriend in Perth and he didn't want to move back to Sydney. So I stayed in Perth with him. So this is just naturally the next thing to do after that relationship ended. Obviously I did a few things in between that relationship ending, like go on maths. But it's just so good to be back. I've been back and forth here like since filming the show. We filmed the show in Sydney, and since filming the show I was pretty much living in Sydney like half the time here, half the time in Perth anyway, and now I'm just here permanently, which is the best. I never ever wanted to leave. I feel like Sydney's home.
I just love following you online too. If anyone's not following you on social media, they should be.
Thank you.
It's like dizzying watching your life and what you get up to.
Dizzying.
And I saw a post recently, I think you're in Bali, and you're like, life is literally just a blur. And I can relate to that sometimes as well. But I imagine you and I agree that you wouldn't have it any other way. Like it's like get as much experience, do as much as you can. That's what I love about you. And even my husband and I, Jack, when we were watching Maths, we watched your season. There was something about obviously your personality coming through that I really admired. I'm like, oh, this chick, seriously, like so fun. And I mean, like that's also the name of your new podcast that you know you've recently launched as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I just launched it. Well, we've launched the trailer and you can subscribe to it as of today. Yeah. Well, the voice trailer. It's called A Bit of Fun with Lauren Dunn. And obviously my Instagram moniker is Lauren Fun, which I've had since forever. Yeah. The amount of people that genuinely think that my last name is Fun would surprise you, which is quite funny. So I changed my name to Lauren Fun on Instagram when I was studying law at uni because I didn't want any of my weekend antics to follow me online that could potentially affect.
Had a similar thing when I worked in Polish.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. But I mean, that was futile. So the pod is just pretty much about my life, what I get up to, pretty much like the interest that the public and the audience and that my followers from the show and the new audience that I've created since the show have in watching my socials. They get to see my stories and my reels and like the still pictures. They can now kind of follow along through podcast format, listening to my commentary on what goes on in my life, but also on pop culture, reality TV still, and just kind of also some more serious topics like DV, women's issues. It really is a space for the girls, the gays, and the guys if they want to support. I really think it's like a combination of like Call Her Daddy, Olivia Attwood's podcast in the UK. It's silly, it's funny, it's out there, it's witty, but it also does create space for like a journey for like everyone to like grow and laugh at me mainly, and just like kind of follow along and just empower each other, just have a good time. But it is a space to like learn about each other and create a community for women.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, we're so like-minded with that.
It's going to be fun.
And,
lots of fun.
And this show for me is like about people who are going through reinvention.
Yes.
And people who are navigating new seasons in their life. And it sounds like you've had a few of those seasons.
Many of those
really
seasons.
Cool to look at, I guess, if you were to sort of summarize like who you were like up until maths, like some of the different things that you've chosen to do with your life, any, you know, key sort of experiences that you had up until that point that shaped who you are today.
So, yes, I mean, I kind of was always of the belief that you go to school, you figure out what you want to do, you go and study that at uni, finish uni, you get a job in that field, you have a partner, get married, have kids, blah, 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 blah. And I got to school and I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. I got into law and was like, nah, that's not what I want to do. So I left and went to Mexico for like 5 months. And from then on, I just never did anything in a linear format, never followed the rules. I never really followed the rules. Like I was always a risk taker. My parents said like from the very early stages, you were always risky behavior from day one. Just nothing was like ever quite good enough. Like I always was pushing the boundaries, like what's next? So traveled, and then I was in a serious relationship from like 18 with my first serious partner, who was an amazing person. Loved him dearly, was madly in love with him. However, I kind of looked around and was like, we lived together and we had a nice little home together and we had a great group of friends and everyone was plodding along, and I looked around and I was like, cool, well, like if I stay here and stay with him, I'm just going to be like shacked up with a couple of kids and like married by the time I'm 25 or whatever. And I was like, I don't want that. So, and I don't want to stay in this small town forever. And so I packed up myself and moved to Sydney and then started my life in Sydney. Like, you know, I made the decision and was gone in like 2 weeks. Moved to Sydney, lived an amazing life in Sydney, and then went back to Perth for Christmas, and then met my ex-partner, and then went through a really turbulent relationship with him that was fraught with a lot of domestic violence, and never thought that I would come out of that relationship because I was just so stuck in it. And I never thought someone like myself, I'm very highly educated, I'm intelligent, I'm strong. I come from a really good family who always gave me everything I ever wanted in terms of like the support, the love, sent me to the best schools. Like in terms of everything you could ever need from a family, I got it in every aspect. Great friends, everything. So people look at you and go that you're not the kind of typical person.
There's no childhood trauma there to indicate that you'd be repeating any kind of patterns or anything. Yeah, absolutely
nothing. Like I have really incredible parents. My dad is like the epitome of how you should treat, like a man should treat their wife. I now know there's no such thing as the perfect victim or the typical victim, especially now since speaking out publicly, the amount of women from all walks of life who have reached out to me with their stories. So I just got stuck in it, and I was also very in love. I just thought I will change him. And so I was stuck in that for a number of years. And then we ended up splitting up for a bit, and I ended up buying a house, and I started my own business. It's very hard to explain this period because it's quite murky in my eyes, but like we split up and COVID happened, and then we started seeing each other again during COVID because we were like isolate with someone.
Yeah.
So like I had moved into a share house with this guy, and during like the lockdown, I would like go from like the lockdown house, like the share house, and like go and hang out with my ex because we lived in a house together, and I had to move out of that house and move into a share house with this random guy, and he got to stay in our house, of course. And so I kept going back to our house and hanging out with him, and things were like quite good between us because, well, I mean, when I say quite good, it wasn't as bad as it had been because there was no outside influences really. There was still like DV going on occasionally, but for the most part it was better. And during that time things got better. We ended up getting back together, and by the end of COVID I ended up, when everything went back, people started, because my business that I was in originally is PR and marketing, and I was a consultant, and it was just in the hospitality space. And the first thing that people started picking up when the restaurants started opening back up in Perth was PR and marketing. So I was able to grow my business really quickly. And because I wasn't living with my ex, I was living in my own place, I was a bit more independent, and I grew the business really quickly and started doing really well and ended up buying my place, and I was like confident and doing well and things were going well. And then he ended up moving back into the house, and we were doing really amazing, and we had 2 really good years. There was no abuse. Life was great. We went on this beautiful trip to Europe. Like we were really making plans to like get married and like a future. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, you're in this like ridiculous penthouse spending like thousands of dollars a week on rent. Like I've got this huge asset here. Like what's your situation? Like should we sell this? And like are you able to get a mortgage and we could buy our dream home for the two of us to live in? Like what's this looking like for our future? Like I need to know where you're at because like you're turning 40 next year. I'm in my 30s. Like we've been together for 5 years, going on 6. Like, what's the future looking like? And every time I'd bring any conversation up to do with finances, he'd get really shitty and like acted like talking like I was attacking him. And I was like, look, all right, if we can't have serious conversations, I can't have a future with you. Like I've been trying to have a serious conversation with you for years. When it comes to anything serious, you shut down. That's a huge red flag amongst a billion other red flags. Like, let's be honest. I'm going to give you a month for you to bring it up with me, so it's not me bringing it up with you like an attack. If you don't, I'm moving on. Shock, horror, he didn't. So do you know what I did? I fucking left him and I moved on. And then do you know what I did? I went on math. And he did not expect that. And I never, ever, ever looked back.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. There are so many similarities in a lot of the story that you just told. Even like it's a bit eerie, like even down to like the COVID lockdown period and being in lockdown in an abusive relationship thing too. What's interesting is like you don't know like why you were accepting that behavior. Like obviously you're very in love with him, you still don't know. Whereas like I'm actually in the depths of doing some very like hardcore inner child work at the moment with a therapist. And so
I need that therapist's name and number.
I recently had to map out like my entire childhood history. And so what you do is you look at what age you were, who was the, parent or guardian or, adult, what kind of abuse it was, what it was, like how it made you feel then and how it makes you feel now. So like I filled out 7 pages of stuff, right? And one of the core themes that ran through it was since being a little kid, there's been physical abuse that I've normalized because I was smacked, hit with wooden spoons to the point that they would break. I was hit with leather belts, horse whips. If I answered back, which was essentially if I tried to use my voice, I was made to eat cakes of soap or peppercorns. So when I shared this with my therapist, she's like, oh my God, do you realize that you would have been taken away from your parents had anyone known? Like this is like bad. This is like
doing
child
that
abuse.
Thinking they were helping you, or were they
controlling? Because it's easy to have.
I mean, either way, as a little kid, it's it's terrifying and it's abuse.
It's a way of like being like I used to hear it like be seen and not heard.
Oh, of course.
Still unwise head. Like it was just a whole like a way like discipline gone backwards. You beat the shit out of someone so that they are so scared and so fearful that they like are reduced to nothing. So you don't hear from them. They don't cause any drama. Like and essentially
make their
like,
life easier.
You look after yourself. You slink around in shadows basically, which is what essentially happened. But then like growing up, even as a teenager, there was a point in the kitchen one night where I accidentally stood on my dad's toe and he punched me in the arm. And so I went into adult relationships there where, abuse was kind of normal. Like if I really pissed off my, boyfriend in an argument and he held his fist up to me, then for me it was like, oh no, like I've done it again. Like I've really upset someone and it's almost like I deserve this.
Yeah.
Because it was so ingrained in me. So like, this is like a recent revelation that I've had of like understanding that. So like I understand why I've kind of normalized that kind of behavior and put up with it year after year and partner after partner stops now. Like I'm not in a relationship like that anymore, thank God.
Thank God.
But I think, for anyone listening who kind of sits there and goes like, why am I putting up with this kind of behavior? It is super useful to go back and do that inner child work. Like it's honestly like the most transformative thing that you can do. It's the most important work you can do. It's fucking hard. It's
See, for me, it's difficult because like I get that. Like I get that it stems from something, and like I'm not stupid. Like I understand that people repeat behaviors that they grew up with as children, what they've seen, and that's why for me it's so difficult because I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? Like I don't understand. I've spoken to multiple therapists, and like I had one with a trauma specialist therapist recently, and for the entire time she just kept saying, okay, well, what do you do to like treat yourself? Like take yourself to your favorite restaurant when you're feeling down or something. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like I treat myself all the time. I'm like, I need you to help me figure out like why I was accepting this. And like she just couldn't, there was like, I don't know, there was just nothing there. And I'm like, there has to be something. There has to be a reason.
There has to be a root cause. And the root is often stemming back to your childhood.
Yeah.
Like your belief system, your core belief system, which is, you know, instilled in you as a child at a rapid rate. You know, like I was even watching a podcast recently because obviously I'm very mindful of, you know, what Ariella needs. She's 2 now. And I learned that 85% of a child's brain is developed by age 3. So all of the work that you do to emotionally regulate them and make them turn into either a secure individual or an avoidant or anxious or, you know, even kids that later on develop ADHD and different behavioural issues, like so much of it comes from that 3-year window where if you're not actually like responding to them and actually giving them the time and the emotional connection that they need in that time, you're going to pay for it later in life through therapy, through drugs, through whatever means possible.
Yeah.
So it's super fascinating and interesting. Like I've gone way down the rabbit hole with this stuff as I've had to, because I was obviously going down the rabbit hole with different therapists and stuff too. And like they're all so different. But I used to find that, I'd just sit there and we'd dissect everything and we'd bring everything up and then I'd just walk out and I'd have no plan of attack, no way of fixing anything. And if anything, just have this like overwhelming anxiety, like this post-therapy hangover.
Yeah,
like,
okay. Interesting. My mum did make a really good point with me as well. It's like, I think with my exes, we were so in love with each other. And even though the relationship, when it was bad, was so bad, it was almost like with me, I didn't want to endure the temporary pain if we broke up. So I would just endure like the shitty relationship. Instead, she was like, you know, you need to cop that. The pain that you go through when you break up is temporary, but the pain that you'll be in, the pain of staying with him will be forever. But you're not going to learn that until you do it yourself. But she was like, you've really got to be strong enough and resilient enough to cop that short-term pain. Otherwise, you're just going to be in this forever. And I just think that I've always been such a thrill seeker and like, I want that instant gratification. And I can see that maybe that comes from like, maybe I was a little bit spoiled when I was younger and like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's their fault by any means, but like, I just didn't want to deal with the pain of a breakup. So I was willing to put up with that shit.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say about like the thrill seeker and the instant gratification, because like I can resonate that with that a lot. And so they say that sometimes we are actually so drawn and attracted to chaotic toxic because it gives us that dopamine hit every time we go through like a high and a low.
100%.
And to people like us, and like I've actually realised this in my current relationship, a true safe relationship with the right partner can feel boring.
Yeah.
And you think there's something wrong with it. And subconsciously, you might even start self-sabotaging that relationship, of which, you know, I've definitely been guilty of, you know, doing that sort of thing too. So, like, fuck, man, like, it's like being an adult and having to, like, deal with your shit and figure your shit out.
I
and
know.
figure out, like, it's a full-time job on its own. And then we're trying to build businesses and families and, you know, like, there's so much work. But I think the most amazing thing is, it's like, if you have the awareness, you can do something with it. Most people are asleep. They don't understand any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I know everyone listening will, because the type of audience and the type of people, women who are ambitious, driven and want a life with no compromise, know that this is a huge part of it. But it is very easy to be asleep at the wheel. And like some days I do actually think, I wish I was just fully naive, or I could go to a hypnotherapist and just have them like blank my memory so I didn't
I wish I was just a dummy.
Yeah.
But it's funny to say that, like the self-sabotage thing, because the relationship that I was telling you about before, my first relationship with my first serious partner, he was absolutely incredible. I completely sabotaged that thing from the beginning to the very end. In every single day I did, because I was bored, because he was a safe space, he was calming. All the good things you would want in a partner was him. And I was young and I just wanted this rock and roll lifestyle, which we had. We had a sick lifestyle. It was fun. There was no 2 days were the same. But then when we had like peace, I would blow it up. And when I went on maths, they were like, what's your toxic traits? And I said that. And I did that on the show. Like, Jono was boring as batshit. And I think that's why they paired me with him, for the drama. They wanted me to see me blow it up. I was careful of that because I was so aware of that as well. So I didn't blow it up specifically with him because I was very aware of like, that's what I do and I'm not going to come here and make the same mistakes I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
I just blew everything else up around me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like now dating, you know, I've been single now. I mean, I haven't been like properly single. I've definitely been in and out of a situationship since the show ended. And I have been dealing with my ex, just not in a romantic way, but just back and forth shit with him. Honestly, up until a couple of weeks ago, I know it's been made very public recently. So I really don't feel like I have really been single up until probably till two weeks ago.
And is that like, because I'm a serial monogamist, I had my first long-term partner at 17 and I literally swung like a monkey on a branch to the next one after that and my current one. So I've also never been single my whole entire life.
Same.
Which is interesting.
Well, it's weird because technically I have been single for 2 years.
Yeah.
But unofficially I haven't. I've had my mind occupied. I've had someone there the whole time, whether it's the drama going on with my ex-partner or a situationship.
Yeah.
So is that really single? Like on paper, yes, I was single and free to do whatever I wanted, but my brain and my heart wasn't.
I think that's because people like you and I are drawn to codependence.
Yeah.
And that's another really cool thing I've done recently too is read, it's an old school book, I think it's from like the 80s. It's by Pia Mellody and it's called Facing Codependence.
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
Please
for that
do.
one.
I'm
But-
really getting back into my reading era. I used to be a massive book nerd. I used to read like a book a week.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
It's before the scrolling eras.
Same. Yeah.
I need to do that.
Yeah, I'm even buying books in, like, because I have them on my Kindle as well, but like actual paperbacks.
I'm a paperback
So
girl.
that you can go and take it into a room away from
Yeah.
you. But the funny thing is, like, I read a book and I'm like, ugh, I'm so tired.
That's also a good thing though. I'm such a insomniac and so reading helps me sleep. Yeah. It also like quietens my mind. These things just open my mind.
Yeah,
They fill
absolutely.
my mind with shit.
Yeah.
I don't need to be looking on the internet and reading shit about myself
No.
as well. Not that, honestly, not a lot of it bothers me.
No.
I look at it, I'm like, oh, you people.
Yeah, you
Football
definitely don't come
morons.
across like the sort of person that any of that stuff bothers. Like you are
Honestly.
very bold and very brave.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I want to touch on maths just for a little bit, and
Yeah.
you're probably sick of getting questions
No, that's
about
fine.
it. But I know that for this audience, they've probably not heard your story
Yeah, of
yet.
course.
So I think everyone always wants to know, like, what is it really like behind the scenes?
In what capacity?
I guess let's go back to what you were talking about before with like knowing that the producers were essentially setting you up to try and see if you would, you know, go on TV and sabotage a relationship and like just maybe just from like a psychological standpoint, I think. I've obviously watched the show for a couple of years now and I even got Jack involved in watching it too. And we sit there sometimes as going like, how can the experts seriously have this right with like lining this person up with that person? Like it's literally just for television because you're like, these people would never ever make it work and it's just ridiculous.
So, number one, let me preface this by saying, Married at First Sight is on Channel 9. Channel 9 is a business. The number one thing in a business is, bottom line, is to make money. So what they need to do is need to make money, and the number one way to make money is for engagement, which is ratings. So they need to do that by engaging the viewer. They want as many viewers as possible, and the way to do that is to create drama. They're also very, very clever because they still have an audience that genuinely believe in the show. They believe that it's created to create love. They're very good at what they do. There is an element of putting partners together for love because they have to have that element of credibility, otherwise no one would tune in, but it is mainly there for drama. And people love to hate on it and say, I'm not watching this again. We want normal people. We want the tradie and the checkout chick. Yeah, you guys can say that, but you're the ones watching it when you've got the influencer with the blown up lips and the narcissist. Every year they cast the same people. Every year. And guess what? Every year the ratings go up and up and up. You all whinge and complain that you don't like it, yet the ratings are getting up. So where is the lie? Like, riddle me that. So unfortunately, that's just how it is. And the other thing with that is it's rage bait. So the engagement online is huge. So creating these like villainous characters gets people talking online, and that's where the ratings and the money pours in. So I went on the show super last minute. I didn't want to go on the show. I was filled with anxiety about it. I just come out of a 6-year relationship. I also am a publicist, so I very much understand how the show works behind the scenes. I read my contract with a fine-tooth comb. I also had an entertainment lawyer look at it. I had media training before I went on the show. I also spoke to multiple people who'd been on the show. I really did my homework before I went on the show. Who the fuck would go on a show that has 3 million viewers a night and not know anything about the show?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing in the world to me. I just don't get that. The amount of people that on my season were like, I've never watched it. It's like, you're a moron and you're the perfect person for them to cast. Congratulations. Is that not to you as a PR girl? Like, is that not insane to you that someone would subject themselves to that?
Oh, absolutely it is. I would never hand over the rights to someone else telling my story. Like, I mean, here's you for doing it, but
it's just like, and that's the other thing. Everyone's like, oh, you're not worried they're going to make you the villain. It's like, well, the other thing with that is like, yeah, it could happen, but I know my personality. I am just going to be myself, and I'm really confident that it will translate well, and I'm just going to call out other people's shitty behavior, and we'll just see how it goes. And I don't know, I just had something in me that I just backed myself, and it worked out.
Yeah.
And also, I know I'm a good person. Like, I stand on the right side of history. Ever since I was a little kid, like, I used to get myself in trouble because I would stand up for the little guy, but then I would get in trouble for being mean to the bully. And God, that's so ironic, because now that's what happens to me now. I got a 7-day ban on Instagram from sending any DMs because some woman who's been trolling me nonstop about the way I look, about this, the way I sound, everything. I called her a miserable cow. And I used the cow emoji, and I've been banned for 7 days. Yet this woman has been trolling me nonstop. And all I said is, geez, you're a miserable old.
Yeah.
And this is after like multiple messages from her, direct messages. And so that is just the story of my life. Like in primary school, like I remember one time this one kid was bullying another kid, and I like gave this kid a huge spray in front of everyone, and I was the one that got in trouble, not the bully, the one that called out the bully because they're the one that got upset. And so like that's my personality, but that does well on TV apparently. And I remember just like filming the show, the producers always be like, I'll be like, oh, I think I've gone overboard with the Jack thing. Like, called him out enough times, and they're like, no, like, trust us, you're on the right side of history here, on the right side of history. I was like, yeah, but in my mind, I feel like you guys could be using this footage to make me out to be this obsessed, snarky bitch with Jack. You're making me out to be obsessed. And then, I don't know, there was a lot of doubt in my mind at some points. But then as the days rolled on and the weeks rolled on, and as things started to come out, I was like, no, I think I've got this. I don't know. I was also just really polite to the people we worked with, like the sound guy, my producer. I just was an easy person to work with. I understood the assignment. The amount of people that'd be like, they can't do that, they can't do this, I can't believe we have to stand there, I can't do repeat that or do this or this time. I'm like, you guys, I know you don't want to talk about the relationship, talk about this, but you see that camera and those lights? You guys signed up, that little contract you signed to be on a fucking reality show. So just get on with it.
Sounds like you should have got a bit of an additional bonus there for being like...
It was a constant joke that I was producing. And it should be like to my producer, okay, so today I heard that Jack called all the boys and was trying to get them not to talk about this. Make sure you ask them about this. Like, I was like, let's just make the show good. Because at the end of the day, it's a television show.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And we're all here for like... one reason, like, yeah, we're all paired up with these partners, and now that we're with the partners, we're making a TV show.
So you're like a producer's...
I was the producer's
dream.
Pet. I really
and pet.
was.
So has that like opened up any more sort of opportunities or windows to do any more television stuff?
To be honest, like I thought that maybe like there would be something within the network, but there really hasn't been anything within the network for anyone from my season. And no one from my season was invited to the Logies, which was so strange.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I know, I was so disappointed about that. But I think I would love to do more television. Honestly, I really, really loved it. I think I'm just going to make those opportunities happen for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you believe you're a powerful manifestor? Like if you actually think and envision that something's in your future, you can make it happen?
I am more of I'm a powerful doer. Like I'll send that email.
Yeah.
I'll write to that person. I'll make an email and I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
But like I do believe in manifesting. Like I talked to my dad about it. My dad, he's an Olympic sports person, and like he was like, we used to do manifesting, but we didn't call it that. We'd do like visualizations. Like they would like the coach would get them to like visualize the ball going into the goal. So that's been around forever, right? So even us having this conversation, like I guess I'm thinking right now, all right, I'm thinking about like what I want to do. I guess that's manifesting, right?
Yeah, creation. Like we're all like the creators of our own worlds, and like some people are blocked creatively for their own, selves. Whereas like, I mean like the world is your oyster essentially, and you can create anything you want. You can go after anything you want.
Yeah.
Like, it starts with an idea, but then it needs to be backed up by action.
Yeah,
so that's the
totally.
thing. I love what you said about I'm more of a doer. I'm like a manifestor, because I think it's the two. The manifestation or the vision.
Is the thinking about it.
Is the like dreaming and
big dreamer.
envisioning something. But then you can't get there without actually doing the work.
Yeah. What did I do recently? Okay, don't want to slag this person off, but we went to a Gabby Bernstein thing.
Oh, yeah. I've had some feedback of people who went to that, yes.
It was a manifesting night. My friend took me. I didn't even know who Gabby Bernstein was.
Yeah.
But I went. Anyway, I took one good thing away, and it was like, you can, like, manifesting isn't just like saying something. It's like you've actually got to like back it up with like action, like what you said. So like I am always like, so for when I start my day, right, I like will literally sit there and I like in my brain literally visualize what it's going to look like. So it starts from literally like me getting out of bed, putting my feet on the ground, putting my fuzzy socks on, going into the kitchen, making coffee. Then what do? Am I going to brush my teeth first? Actually, no, put the face tan first. No. Brush your teeth first because then the face tan's going to get off if you brush your teeth like that. Like I literally like visualize the day to a T. So I guess that's kind of similar to manifesting in a way. And then I guess manifesting is like doing that in a more long-term perspective.
Yeah. What's the North Star? Like, how do you want your life to look? Like, what are you working towards?
Yeah.
Like, what is the vision? And I mean, like, people do it in different ways. They might manifest for the day, manifest the week, the month, the year, 5 years, 10 years, like whatever it might be. I think for me, and I would say this is probably true for you as well, because we do chop and change so much. I don't really like making long-term plans because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to feel like I want to do that then. Like even just the whole thing of like having to have it all figured out in high school, what you want to be so that you know what to choose to go to university to do. Like
it's ridiculous.
Like between primary school to high school. So in primary school, in our yearbook, our final yearbook, I put down that I wanted to be an anchor woman, which is that's cute. Kind of almost ended up there.
Well, this is similar.
And then when I finished high school, I just watched way too much NCIS and Law and Order, and I wanted to be a forensic psychologist. So the first degree that
I wanted to be a forensic psychologist because I was obsessed with CIS.
Yeah, and so I enrolled in a Bachelor of Criminology as my first degree. And then I realized, what am I doing here? It wasn't true for me, but that's how it started. And then like I had like a multitude of different careers before I finally went and studied my communications degree, and then ended up in politics, which was so not me, but a great opportunity. But like I've literally just like I remember sitting down one day and just like riffing off like all of the stuff that I've done, and people like, how have you done so much for like your age? Like that is insane.
How old are you?
I'm 40.
Are you? So what politics did you do?
I worked as a media and communications advisor for the Liberal Party federally.
Oh my gosh.
I did that for several years and then ended up in state politics as my like way out. But
I would have loved to have done that.
I did every sitting week. So I would travel to Canberra 22 weeks of every year from the Gold Coast because that's where I'm from originally. So I'd be doing like 40 odd flights every year working in like my first week was budget week in Parliament House, and like the hours are ridiculous. Like we'd start work at 7 o'clock in the morning and I wouldn't get out of the office till 10 or 11 o'clock at night, go to the hotel.
Oh my God.
Pass out, wake up at 5:30. Paint a face, get back in there. Like it was tough. Like I was so burnt out. Like I did, And then I mean, obviously with like, winning elections, I went through the 2013 federal election. It was the seat that I represented became the most watched seat in the country because it was the most hotly contested marginal seat. Yeah. And there was a former Queensland Premier coming in to try and win it from us. So I worked, I think it was like 6 weeks straight without a day off. And I remember being really pissed off because my car fell out of registration. I got pulled over by the cops one day on the way home. And they're like, we're going to have to fine you for being an unregistered vehicle. I haven't had a fucking chance to look at my mailbox because I'm working on a political campaign. Like zero fucks given.
Did they not let you off?
No. That's one of my toxic traits. That's happened to me a few more times too. Like since I've been in Sydney, I've been pulled over by the police more than I've ever been pulled over by the police in my whole entire life. And it's always because my car's fucking unregistered. Because we travel so much and we're away and we're moving and like when I'm never in the one place long enough. And I do. I hate life admin. Like I loathe it. It is just sucks the life out of me.
AI should do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the world we live in right now. So
seriously.
Yeah. Just
or a virtual assistant.
Yeah. Anyway, I digress on that for a bit. I think Did
I answer that question? No, not really.
About manifestation?
No, we're talking about what was maths like behind the scenes.
No, I think I think that's really cool. I don't know if anyone's ever heard about like your involvement and how smart you were in terms of like approaching that. And I think that's good advice for anyone who might be considering going on a reality TV show. If they're like listening to this and going, oh shit, yeah, I should definitely get someone to look over the contract.
Look, you can, but they won't budge. They didn't budge with one thing. But also, I get so many people messaging me. I think I'm going to go on maths. It's like, you guys have no idea what you're in for. No idea. It's a whole different ballgame. You got to have a really thick skin.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's 22 people that go on. I would say 18 out of 22 wish they didn't do it.
So you obviously keep in contact. I can imagine it just like you'd create lifelong sort of friendships out of doing something like that. So
with only a couple.
Only a couple.
I feel like most people go on there with an agenda. You're stupid if you don't. Like, let's be honest. By season, we're up to season 12. People understand how well you could do for yourself off this show. So if you are going on that show only just wanting love, running the risk of 50-50 ruining your life or possibly the chance these are your options. It can absolutely ruin your life to the point where you have to like quit your job or you get fired and you have to like literally go into hiding. Or, you know, you can be likable but you'll just be forgotten. Or you can really do well and like you can quit your day job and become a social media influencer or whatever else it is you want to do. So they're your options. So like if you are just going on to find love and you don't want that, and you don't want to be well known and you don't want there to be a chance that you will lose your job as a teacher or whatever it is you do, don't go on it. Go on eHarmony or jump on a dating app or get your friends to set you up with someone. Do not go on this show if that is your only reason. So when people go, oh, she's on there because she wants to be famous or she wants to get Instagram followers, like so fucking what? Like if people are on there and you guys get to be entertained or you get their like mental health or their love is at expense of your entertainment, who gives two shits if they get a few extra Instagram followers and a couple $1,000 of a Instagram deal and you get to be entertained? Like that is the lay of the land now. If that is the only reason they are on there, yes, that is obvious, it's inauthentic and it's not nice to watch and it's shitty. Like the audience doesn't like that. However, if it's part of the deal, you're stupid if you don't do it. In saying that, from my season, there was a huge cast divide, especially between like me and the person I was paired with, because obviously he ended up with another girl on the show. And like, and then there was a lot of people on the show that ended up really hating me and Sarah because nothing happened with them. They just kind of faded into the background and didn't get anywhere, and they don't like that we did well. Yeah. And there's a lot of bitchiness, a lot of leaking nasty stories to trying to leak nasty stories. As soon as a nasty story about me got anywhere, I intercepted it and killed that thing because I'm a publicist.
Don't mess with someone in PR.
Yeah, don't try me. And do you know what? Anything like remotely nasty as well. Like, of course, there's shitty stories. I don't care.
Yeah.
I really do not care. But like, I mean, all my friends, like, and I made all my friends work at these places. Like, someone messaged me like, lol, this person from the cast just tried to tell me this and tried to tell me to publish it, and we just both laugh and it would never go anywhere. All it would do is make me know that person tried to publish a story about me, and I'm like, oh, it's so embarrassing for you. I don't even think about you. But like, there is definitely, that's what happens. And then the ones that do really well, like someone like Lucinda just wants everyone to love and do well, and she's happy for everyone. And then there's like the salty people, and then there's like the people that just want to go back to their normal life, that don't care and they don't want to be famous, and like they're just all good. But I'm really only like I became really close friends with Sarah. We've got a lifelong friendship. We're like super close. See her on Saturday, saw her last weekend. I still speak to Lucinda.
Freaking love those koala ads.
Oh my God, are they not the best ads on TV?
Every time. I lose it every time because she's such a cracker.
She's the best. Hey?
She is awesome.
I still speak to like Tristan and like friendly with Jade and Ridge, but like everyone lives in other states. So Sarah's pretty much my only friend. Yeah. And Tristan, he lives in Sydney.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Two out of the bunch. I mean, I always feel like, you know, from any experience, if I can gain one good new connection out of it, it's like worth it. Yeah. I think it would be totally remiss of me not to ask you how you've developed such a thick skin, because I know a lot of people do have imposter syndrome and really care about what other people think, and it does hold women back a lot. So how have you developed that? I have always had people talk about me, and I've always been a topic of gossip and stuff since high school. Like, even like if it was like older girls and we were hanging out with like the guys a few years older than us, the girls in their group would always be talking about me and my friends. Or I've had people like make Facebook pages about me in high school, like not my friends or anyone that I knew, like older girls that were jealous of our friends. It's been nonstop since I was younger, and I've just always had a thick skin. I'm sure back then it definitely bothered me, but I've really only ever cared about what my friends and my family think about me. Yep. Why I could give two shits about what a stranger thinks about me. I've got enough to think about than what. And like, let's be honest, like someone who's got about it, like a random on the internet's got a negative opinion of you, like they're never doing better than you. Like someone who's criticizing you, someone who's got the time to write a comment about you on a maths fan page or on a news outlet site. One, why are you following those sites at all? Or they're a fan of you and they're following you and they're writing something negative on you. So they're following you, but they're going to write something negative. They're not doing better than you in life to have the time. Like, I don't have the time to write comments about strangers. I don't follow those sites about strangers. Like, yeah, if I love pop culture and news and stuff, and I might pop something in there if I see like Sabrina Carpenter's new album
thing and everyone's trashing, I'll be like, love this, love this chick, like whatever. But I'm never going to write something negative about a stranger or a celebrity that I don't know. Like, you got to think what that person's mental state is as well to write something like that. Like, they're either not all there, which is like kind of sad. 2, they're just really lonely and they're looking for attention. Or 3, it's like they're just not doing better at you in life. So it's like, why would you give a fuck what they think?
Yeah, and it's so important to be able to get over that and to not care, particularly with building an audience and a profile, right? Because, you know, so many ambitious people kind of, it's like part and parcel now that you need to have a personal brand, you need to have a profile, you need to be showing up online.
Yeah.
And so you need to be prepared to cop, you know, feedback from people. You want to be polarizing so you actually fucking stand out in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, this exposure and audience equals currency. So you are literally rewarded into how brave you can be and how much you can show up and how big you can, you know, build. Like your brand and your presence and your audience essentially, you know, so infinitely tied now to like your success.
Yeah, and I think I'm lucky as well because I am just so naturally who I am, which is bold and out there, and that just comes naturally to me. It has done my whole life. When I show up online as just me, I get a lot of positive feedback, but a lot of negative feedback. A lot of people say that, you know, like whatever it is they say, I actually don't even really look or care. But it's like, you're just creating engagement on my post, which means the next time I send my rates for the next thing I charge, I can charge double. So thank you, literally. Like, I've been like doing a few trying out trial reels.
Yeah.
And I opened one the other day that I'd done, and I had like 2.6 million views like overnight. And the comments were all men, and they were like, "You're trash, you're this, you're that." And I was like, cool, but that's got 2.6 million views, and I can pitch that to the brand with the t-shirt that I'm wearing and be like, here, look at that. Do you want to pay me for the next one? Like, you're just all morons. And I looked at every single comment. I would like go to the profile and I look at the guy, and it's like, okay, mate, like, you ugly trash whore. And I was like, you wish that I would look at you. Like it's just sad. Like, these people on the internet are just, they're barely people.
Every troll, every time you click through to their profile, you just see they're an absolute numpty, and you're just like...
It gives me a good laugh,
And
honestly.
other people do that too, because like people will go and look at like, what's this person like?
Yeah.
You know, like it all self-regulates, hey? Like the community actually like see through it. So it's not even like, you don't even have to respond. It's like people will get it. And if they don't and they're too stupid to get it, then like you don't care anyway.
And I love every now and then calling out like a really self-righteous or really stupid or like hypocritic troll. Like, I love calling out the ones with like, be kind, or like, mum of 3, love my angels, spread peace and kindness. And I'm like, and do you know what I do? I always give them a chance to delete what they said, apologize. So what I'll say, I'll be like, all right, you can either like, I'll give you a chance to like realize that that's wrong. You can delete it. You can apologize, or you can double down. And if they double down, I'll post it. And every time once I post it, they'll either apologize and I'll take it down.
Wow.
Or if they double down, I'll leave it up. And then I end up getting someone from their family, oh, I'm so sorry. My mom, she's a moron. I'm so sorry. No, this is embarrassing to me. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it down.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
You're the second person I've spoken to
me
this week who've said a similar thing of a family member reaching out and wanting someone to take something down. So it's interesting that that's happening.
If a family member reaches out and they're nice, of course I'll take it down. But I've had a few family members reach out, I'm like, you fucking idiot. And I'm like, but you're going up there too now. You can see exactly where you are. But what they'll do is they'll either apologise, double down, or they'll block me. Most of the time they'll just block me. But it's like, whatever, everyone can still see it.
Yeah.
Just because you block me doesn't mean it's not still there.
Yeah, exactly. Far out. What a rad conversation we're having here. I mean, we've talked everything. We've talked about your pre-maths career. We've touched a little bit on, you know, the domestic violence stories. We've gone into inner childhood stuff. We've wrapped around into some maths.
The trolls.
The trolls even.
Do you get trolling?
There was only one time I got trolling, which was when I was in the media quite heavily.
Yeah.
So back during that election, I was totally in 2013.
And you would have to just ignore it, wouldn't you?
Because obviously being in PR, I had good relationships with the journalists and like chief of staffs and that sort of thing. So like, when my story came out, which was, you know, this page 3 of the Sunday Mail at the time, they did a story on my brilliant career, and they talked about how I was a former model and the best bum in Australia, and now I was working in conservative politics.
Oh my God, people would have hated that. You are not allowed to be beautiful with a great ass and be smart.
So that was the thing.
Australians don't like that. You can't be both.
No. And that was
how
the thing.
dare you.
That's what they said to me. They're like, don't read the comments. And so, of course, when someone says don't read the comments, what's the first thing you do? Like, what's in the comments? And that's exactly what it was. It was like, oh, I wonder if if, you know, she got her job because she even has a brain, or she got a job. And, you know, I had some pretty dumb things said to me as well. I won't name names, but I had some members of parliament literally say that they would never hire me as their staff because I would give their wives anxiety, or because I would be too much of a distraction because of how I looked. A woman actually said that to
That
me.
doesn't surprise me at all. But thank you for that compliment. That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, to wrap, I've got 3 questions that I ask all guests that have been on the show.
Okay.
The first one is, and you just finish the end of this.
Okay.
This season of my life feels like.
Do you know what? It's so funny because you say that and like nothing pops into my mind. It's just blank.
Is that because it's the season of your life that you're in at the moment is a blur?
I don't know, because I don't know what season I'm in. Do you know what? I think this is going to sound really like cliche but and like boring, but like it's exciting because I feel like the next season is this podcast that I'm about to launch. I know it's like, oh, just another podcast, but it's like, I feel like this is going to be big. I don't want to say exciting because that's boring.
No. I mean, what that sounds like to me is like you're in the season of being able to embark on something that is a passion project that really lights you up.
Yeah, it's just like, I've been waiting for this. Like the Maths After Party podcast was great, but it wasn't about me. Like, what's the word for about to be? Like it's about, can I say boom?
Definitely.
Boom.
It's about to boom.
Yeah.
The season feels like, yeah, like it's, you're feeling like the energy building. Like, you know, you're building towards something that you know is about to just go boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a season of anticipation because
Yeah.
like your anticipation has excitement in it as well, but it's like I'm anticipating like something big is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing you've stopped apologizing for.
Going back to my ex, I've really resonated with the fact that none of that was my fault. Really don't feel like any of that was my fault. I really carried a lot of guilt with that. And I think my most recent interaction with the police made me realise I could have rolled out a fucking red carpet and sent him a golden invitation around a dove and welcomed him in with a marching band, and that's not my fault. I've stopped apologising for that.
That's big.
For the whole thing, all the way back to the very beginning.
That's huge.
And I feel like everyone else should too.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
That could even maybe segue into the next question unless you've got
Yeah.
something else. But I want women listening to know that.
That it's not their fault and they are not weak for staying in any kind of abusive situation, whether it's physical, emotional, coercive control, mental abuse, financial, anything. It is not your fault and you're not weak. You just don't have the right tools yet.
Where would they go to get some of those tools? I think it'd be really, like, I can't kind of leave that question and not
So
go.
I'm an ambassador for an amazing organisation called The Polished Man. So The Polished Man can provide you with all the resources that you need. Go to their website and
We'll make sure we link it in the show notes.
please, link it. They provide you with an array of different resources.
Yeah.
And it's a really great place to start. And you can also message me on Instagram directly.
Yes, she will respond.
And I will respond. We can just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
We can chew the fat. We can chat, and I can point you in the right direction if you need your resources. If you just want to share your story, you can talk to me. We can bitch and moan together, or we can actually have a conversation that can help you make a change in your own life.
As is this conversation, I
Yes.
think will make a change as well. You've been a pleasure to talk to.
Thank
you
you
so much.
thanks for having
I look forward to
me.
speaking, to staying in connection with you, actually.
True.
Yeah. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Well done.
That was so good.
Yeah, it was fun,
Oh my
hey?
God, I could have talked to you for hours. We can do that now.
Yeah, we can. Go have a drink.